Bennett Kessler filed this following report. They like the idea of a major solar project in Inyo County, but the Inyo County Board of Supervisors do not want to gamble with tax dollars when it comes to the service impacts of the Bright Source Energy Hidden Hills solar project in far eastern Inyo County. Now, after 2 hours of talk on Wednesday, the board declined to support an agreement proposed by Bright Source, but did approve a sales tax agreement of its own. Now, as Supervisor Rick Pucci said, quote, "It's an extremely complex matter," end quote. He pointed to the national and state benefits of solar power, but also to the potential cost to Inyo taxpayers, mostly for law enforcement and road costs in the project area, which will include 170,000 solar panels that generate 250 megawatts of power. Now, two reports face the Inyo County Board of Supervisors, one in which the California Energy Commission claims Inyo will net more than $61 million over the course of the project, and the other report from Inyo's own consultant and staff that says the county will lose nearly $22 million. Now, Supervisor Pucci said, quote, "This huge discrepancy really bothers me," end quote. He said that as a representative of the public, it's difficult to be a gambler. We can't gamble with the public's money. Now, Pucci also pointed out that a state agency, the California Energy Commission, has overall authority on the project, so in the end, that agency can make the decisions. Meanwhile, Inyo County has taken its stand that Bright Source will cause some $90 million in impacts, mostly with the addition of 7 sheriff's deputies and a new substation, plus major repairs expected to the old Spanish Trail Road due to significantly increased traffic by 2,300 employees on the project, as well as delivery vehicles. Now, both Bright Source and the county seem to agree that the project will generate $7.8 million in sales taxes. Bright Source would agree to guarantee that much plus $1 million more if Inyo would agree not to seek the sum $90 million in impacts. Well, the Inyo County Board of Supervisors unanimously approved their staff's proposed agreement. Now, it is unknown if more negotiations with Bright Source will follow, and you can see more on this story. Please check out our website, sierrawave.net. Well, on Tuesday, the Mono County Board of Supervisors officially appointed and swore in Under Sheriff Ralph Obenberger to the seat of Mono County Sheriff Coroner. Now, Under Sheriff Obenberger has been in law enforcement, according to a press release, for over 27 years. Started his career with the Los Angeles County Sheriff's Office for 15 years before moving to Mono County. Now, over the course of his career, he has worked as a patrol deputy, special assignment deputy, training officer, dispatcher, sergeant, lieutenant, chief deputy, coroner, and the undersheriff. Obenberger said, quote, "I believe I have excellent communications with all of my staff and employees, as well as allied agencies and other county departments. With all that said, I feel I am very qualified and suited for taking on the responsibilities on the office of the sheriff," end quote. Now, a press release from the Mono County Sheriff's Office stated that as Obenberger comes into his new role as sheriff, there are 3 main challenges he sees the department facing: how Mono County will handle AB 109 realignment due to the larger number of inmates now being housed in the county facility rather than being sent to state prison, dealing with manpower issues and residency issues within the sheriff's office, and the changes occurring within the Mammoth Lakes Police Department and the town of Mammoth Lakes, and how those impact on the sheriff's office. Obenberger will officially take his seat as sheriff coroner on Thursday, December 20th at 5:01 p.m. with the retirement of Rick Scholl. Well, Bennett Kessler filed this report. Faced with their own financially pinched service levels, top cops in Inyo and Mono counties seem doubtful that they can help Mammoth Lakes much with its severe manpower cuts in the police department. Now, Mammoth Police Chief Dan Watson and Mammoth Lieutenant John Mayer recently met with Bishop Police Chief Chris Carter and Undersheriffs Keith Cardhassel of Inyo and Ralph Obenberger of Mono to talk about possible help. Now, Chief Watson said they asked the officials about, quote, hiring their personnel to fill regular shifts in Mammoth when the police department can't because of shortages, end quote. Now, Chief Carter agreed that the chiefs and undersheriffs discussed if Mammoth Lakes Police could supplement their ranks by using officers from other departments and reimburse for overtime pay, workers' compensation, and other costs. And Chief Carter said, quote, "Every agency is short on personnel. I'm down 2 officers, even with 2 new ones coming on board." Other agencies expressed the same thing, Carter said. Now, ironically, former Mammoth police officer Ron Gladding, he just left the Mammoth PD and went to work for the Bishop Police Department on December 1st. Now, Inyo County Sheriff Bill Lutz said his Undersheriff Keith Hardcastle attended the meeting with Chief Watson, and Lutz said, quote, "We listened to his requests. I sent him cost figures for off-duty personnel who would volunteer. But at this time, it is doubtful we could supply the number of personnel they need. Our priority is Inyo County," end quote. Now, Lutz said that on average, it would cost $70 an hour, including travel time, for one of his officers to work overtime in Mammoth. He said that the cost would also include 65 cents per mile, a per diem for food and lodging, as well as administrative fees. Now, when officers would have to testify in criminal cases, that would cost more overtime for the officers testifying and overtime for someone to fill in for that officer. Now, Obenberger said, quote, "Speaking from Ono County Sheriff's Office, but similar to Bishop PD and Inyo Sheriff, we are currently shorthanded regarding our staffing. We are down 3 to 4 deputies, with one of our deputies still in training with a training officer. With that said, we currently have a difficult time filling our own shifts with our personnel. I told Chief Watson that we currently do not have the manpower levels to assist MLPD with coverage relating to their daily shifts. We will, however, continue to assist with special events such as we have in the past, such as the Night of Lights or New Year's Eve, and as always, we'll respond immediately to assist their agency anytime there is an emergency situation occurring or if they ask for mutual aid for a large-scale event." And again, that was Ralph Obenberger. Now, Mammoth Police Chief Watson will report his findings to town officials later this month or next month, according to Administrative Services Director Mariana Marashiva Martinez. Well, Bennett Kessler filed this story. According to Ventura County media, former Bishop Police Chief Kathleen Sheehan, who had taken the job of Port Hueneme Police Chief, has now resigned amidst some type of investigation. Now, the Ventura County Star reported this week that Sheehan was placed on paid administrative leave in November, and city officials hired an outside firm to, quote, "investigate her behavior," end quote. Now, the report said there were allegations that Sheehan, quote, "violated city policy on issuing carrying concealed weapon permits, secretly recorded confidential conversations with city officials, and improperly participated in dismissal of a parking citation," end quote. Now, the news report said Sheehan resigned effective December 4th with a 14-page severance agreement signed by city officials and Sheehan. The agreement reportedly says the city will pay Sheehan a lump sum of nearly $76,000, which is the equivalent of 6 months' pay. Now, Sheehan, who left Bishop in 2010 with high praise from the Bishop City Council, was the first female chief in Port Hueneme. She worked as Bishop Police Chief for about 3 years, and before that, 25 years with the Los Angeles Police Department, where she reached the rank of lieutenant. Well, Bennett Kessler also filed this report. With subcontractors finally at work in the long-dormant Cottonwood Plaza in Bishop, residents' hopes for a revitalized center resumed this week. Now, Rudolph Construction had earlier taken the job as general contractor for the reconstruction of the center. Rudolph has now hired local subcontractors to do the work to upgrade infrastructure. The city of Bishop had required upgrades to electrical, water, sewer, fire sprinklers, and alarms. Ray and Liz Esmalea bought the center a few years ago. Ray became ill and passed away, and the project was put on hold. Now, owners include Liz Esmalea and her parents, Peter and Susan Denman, and Ray's sister. Now, Peter and Susan Denman are in Bishop now to get acquainted with the area and prospective tenants. Susan Denman told Sierra Wave Media that reconstruction is underway with focus on upgrades of the infrastructure. She said that plans include keeping the same buildings with improvements like painting, resurfacing the parking lot, repairs, and new signage. She said that they're keeping an eye on costs but want to upgrade the appearance of the building. Now, Denman said the improvements in electrical service will lead to significantly reduced power bills for tenants. She said they also hope to connect with the fiber optic line of the Digital 395 project for service at the center. Denman said she and her husband are interviewing prospective tenants and are, quote, heading more toward June for occupancy, end quote. Asked about earlier reports of an El Pollo Loco restaurant in the center, Denman said that's still a possibility. She said plans include a common grease trap to accommodate any restaurants that move into the center. And how does she feel about this ambitious project? Denman said, well, we're glad. Ray's death, she said, set things back, but now we're putting the pieces together. It's a long process, she said. Denman said that she and the family have found the Bishop community to be very supportive. She said they want feedback from locals about what kinds of businesses they would like to see in the center. And you can check out our website, sierrawave.net, for contact phone numbers. We'll be back with more news.